Welcome back, everybody. This week we're going to talk about smells. How can you get the most bang for your buck and tips for selling your house? And we're going to talk about smells this week, so stay tuned right after this.
I would say the first thing is what we don't realize is when we live in a space and we've been in a space for a while, there are things that start happening, and those things that start happening are that we get accustomed to certain smells. And I would say two of the biggest ones are first and foremost pets. You know, if we have cats in the home or dogs in the home, oftentimes we just don't pick up on those scents because you're just accustomed to it. So one really quick thing I would say is, you know, if at any point they have an accident in the home, by all means, you know, take care of it right away. The longer it sits, the more it's going to go into the carpet and into the concrete, and definitely we don't want that to happen because that's where we start getting into replacement territory. You have to replace the carpet pad, you know, all that good stuff. So that would be the first remedy I would say for sure, is to make sure to take care of that and get that squared away immediately. The second one is smoking. What I've seen is, and so the people that pick up on the smell are going to be the ones that don't necessarily have that.
And sometimes you don't even have to be smoking in the house to really smell it, right?
Right. So a lot of times we think, okay, I'll just go into the garage and it's just not going to get into the home. But the reality of it is it will. And so by doing that, you know, if you're smoking and you're smoking in your garage or you're smoking in your home, first and foremost, I'd say stop right now. And then one of the things that happens is the smoke does cling to walls. It does go into vents. So have your vents professionally cleaned. Make sure that they deep clean it and then repaint your walls. That's by far probably the quickest and easiest way. I've had people try and clean and wipe down the walls, but the challenge with that is that it may not go away. So you put all this time and effort into cleaning and you still end up having to repaint. So I would just say cut that out of the equation, repaint it. Another thing that can happen is get your carpets deep cleaned. Sometimes it's been in there so long, the only option is just to replace your carpets. So depending on how long it's been going on, that truly might be the best option. If it really, really gets bad, you could use an ozone machine to remove that smell, but that's really, really serious stuff at that point because you really want to hire a professional to do that. But those are two really important scents, I think, that people may not realize that they've gotten accustomed to, that somebody that doesn't have pets or somebody that doesn't smoke is really the moment they come in, they're gonna say, oh my gosh, I can totally smell that.
Also, when it comes to smells, I know a lot of times people decide, they say, hey, I'm gonna go get some of these Glade plugins, and they go crazy in the house with these Glade plugins, and honestly, sometimes those can be a little strong. What we found is the ones that are more food scented and they're not as harsh and not as strong tend to be a little more desirable than the ones that are more florally, and those ones tend to be a lot more strong, and it really, I wouldn't say it really turns off a buyer, but it's one of those things that you walk in and you're like, wow, it just smells like flowers and chemicals and everything. As opposed to the food ones, they're a little more soft and subtle, I would say, and more people tend to like those a little bit better, I would say. So
yeah, and I would say with the plugins too, we want to just be really conscious of it. Sometimes people do think you're trying to hide a smell, and that's never good too, because it sets the tone that you are not trustworthy. And we definitely want to be really upfront with the clients, of course. The last option, of course. Sorry, Gabe, you gonna say?
I was gonna say a good trick is to wash your clothes. It's a good thing too. It always smells good when people are they wash their clothes and then they have their dryer running with their clothes drying. That always smells really good. So.
Or baking bread or
cookies. Baked bread, but that's like if you're doing open houses and things like that. Or you could do that too. I mean, when you know you're having a showing.
Now there is one other topic I wanted to touch on, and that is the cleanliness of a home. So one of the best ways I can describe it is you're living in a museum essentially, but what I would highly, highly recommend, and you know, above all and beyond all, you know, really get your home nice and scrubbed up and clean and sparkly. I have had clients that have very upgraded homes, but because they didn't get it sparkly, they didn't get it really clean, people walked in and walked out. And other homes that weren't as upgraded, because they were sparkly and clean, people really liked it and wanted to be in it and could envision themselves in it. So highly recommend, the smell element, and of course, making sure your house is really clean.
So again, these are tips that are going to give you the most bang for your buck when it comes down to it. I mean, these are easy. They're easy, simple things you can do just to get the most amount of money. Because I've seen homes sell for a lot less if there was a smell. I walked into sometimes and my client just did not want to go in, and then we go back later and see it. So first we see sometimes it didn't sell, and then second we'll see there's a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 price drop that they have to do just to get that sold. So small things could make a big difference. Stay tuned for our next video. We will be back next week with that. So hope you guys are doing well, and talk to you guys soon.
Bye.